Alright, this is my GDQ submission for AGDQ 2026. I'm Kally. I am mostly a 120 star runner, top level. I'm currently 5th place. I do a lot of different strats than a lot of other players. I'm more up to date and willing to experiment with gameplay ideas and such. I'm also known for being able to talk while playing and explaining what I'm doing, which I think is a pro for a charity marathon. So I haven't exactly decided what my couch is going to be like. I believe it's going to mostly be vibes based, just have some friends to have some light banter and stuff, and then I'll be the one who's explaining most of the stuff. This example submission is going to probably be way more explanatory than the actual run will be, simply because I'm the only one here and I'm the one who has to fill the dead air. There are certain things that I do want to talk about during the actual run if I get accepted, so there's stuff there. So timing would start on go, which would be 3, 2, 1, go. My bad, I messed that up. 3, 2, 1, go. I have to start at a different time, but that would be roughly how it should be for a marathon. So the intro would be us probably introducing ourselves a lot. I have splits up. I know I won't have splits for the actual run. I'm skipping quite a few because I'm doing a slightly different route. A lot of people will do LBLJ, or lobby backwards long jump, to get into Dark World first, bypassing the 8-star door. I'm not going to do that because it's been done a lot and I really dislike the trick, and I want to kind of get momentum going, and it gives more time to explain other things. So like the first trick coming up is Lakitu skip. Basically, for most of the bridge, if we land on it, we'll be in a detection spot that Lakitu will come down and talk to us, which will lose a lot of time. But if we can stay on the very edge, we can skip that. So that's what I'm going for now. Kind of messed my movement up a little, but we're fine. So the first thing we're gonna go do is bomb clip. I'm gonna go for a slide strat that it's an old idea, but people only started recently doing it. And I'm gonna go for backflip bomb clip, which I can explain in a second. So here's the slide strat. I didn't get the greatest speed, but that can save about 0.3. And there's backflip bomb clip. So we're able to grab a big bomb, which pushes us back because the hitboxes overlap. And then once we get close to the fence, we can hit Z, which crouches and puts down the bomb, which pushes us through the fence. And then we're able to immediately do a backflip, which is very, very fast. So because I'm doing no LBLJ, I'm going to PSS first. This saves 0.7 over going straight to Womps and doing the slides later. Here's another new strat. Kind of an old idea, but people only started recently doing. We do the slide slightly differently. We bounce off the wall further down, which is faster and can get us better times. I didn't get a better time, but that's okay. So we're going to be heading into Womps. The first star I'm going to do is Cannonless. I'm going to go for Assault Cannonless first, which is a type of Cannonless found by a player named Salt and Ginger, who's found a lot of strats. We'll be doing another strat found by them later on in the run. Basically, there is a star that is inside of a wall. You're supposed to get a cannon and shoot Mario at it to break it, to expose it. However, we're able to grab it through the wall. So it's like a very precise setup, and I got it. Okay, so basically there's two places where the wall meets. There's the normal wall, and then there's the piece that you break off. There is a slight misalignment between them, which lets you ledge grab. Now, normally the game would then be like, okay, well, you can't be where you are, so we're gonna immediately let go on Mario. But because there's a star there, it puts our hitbox in the star for 1 frame, which is enough to grab it, which gets us the star. So I just performed double jump Alice. I had a little bit of a flub, but that's all right. And now it's on for 100 coin. 100 coins in this game are slightly different than the other stars. Most stars in this game will take you out of the level and you'll have to re-enter. The 100 coin stars will keep you in the stage and then you can collect another star. So it's often paired with another star. Usually a red coin star, as red coins give you 2 coins per each red, which is helpful when collecting 100. However, that's not always the case. It is here though. So I hit Pro Cycle, just the second fastest cycle. It's called Pro because that's basically the best cycle that anyone reasonably goes for. So you can see I grabbed this star, I'm still in the stage, and now I can grab the red coin star. So a nice little 2 for 1. Next up is Wild Blue. A lot of people will do a side flip for this strat. It's becoming more and more common for people to do a single jump, especially in longer categories. So we have spacing and camera inputs and such to make it very easy to do. Next up is Womp King. We're going to use some tech that will come into play later as well, where we're going to be able to phase through the Womp King by doing a ground pound. For whatever reason, when you do a ground pound, you're able to phase through certain things. So for example, this guy. So we can cheese this fight and make it very quick. We line ourselves up where the star is going to spawn. And I went for the swag dive. It saves no time. It's a 1 frame window, but it's nice to get for fun. Although if you have any thought in your mind that you're not on the star, you shouldn't go for it, because then you have to roll out when you hit the ground and then readjust to grab the star, which is very slow. So next up is Tower. I'm gonna go for double jump Tower, but I might have to bail out. Alright, I got it. I actually cannot remember how much time that saves, but that is a very annoying strat to do, but it saves a decent amount. Okay, now onwards to JRB. Now, a lot of people think the swimming stages in this game are really boring. As you get better at the game, you kind of start to realize how much depth there is to them. I can watch other top players have amazing swimming lines and be very impressed. So it can be very engaging in that way. Now, if you're familiar with this game speedruns, you'll know that a lot of people will go to the aquarium first. Personally, I dislike the movement for that, and it only loses about 0.15 seconds to do it after. So, and that's due to lag, if I remember correctly. So I prefer to do it after. We just did ship clip. Very interesting clip. I actually thought I understood why it worked, but I went and did a little bit of research before this to figure out why it works. And it's completely different than what I thought, and I'm not exactly confident in explaining how it works, but we can clip into the ship. Now I'm gonna go for frame walk once here. Frame walk is a very annoying strat, but can save like 6 seconds. So we're gonna change our star so the ship stays at the bottom to prevent lag. And I won't be able to talk while doing this. And I got it. Okay. Very annoying strat. Sometimes you can do hours of attempts and not get it. Basically, you would normally slide down that slope, but if you go neutral and then full magnitude, you can keep walking up. It's very, very easy to do on like a keyboard or something that has a digital input. And there actually was a period where people started doing that, where they would plug in another controller that could remap to a button. But as a community, we decided to ban the ability to switch input types mid-run. So like if you want to do a run on keyboard, you can do a run on keyboard. It's just, if you have the movement options, like what normally would be the joystick, bound to a keyboard, it must stay that way the entire run. Got hit by a clam, this one's a little tricky. So you can run on keyboard, and there are people who do, and it's very, very impressive, because they don't have all of the angles and the range that you would normally have on a joystick, which results in them having to create a lot of interesting setups. And honestly, a lot of the time, those setups end up being very good for people running on controller as well, since usually they're a lot simpler. So here we are doing JRB 100. This is another star where we combine it with reds. You'll see that I'm manipulating the camera in certain ways in certain instances. I missed that red. That's because the game isn't exactly the best optimized. I mean, this was a launch title for the N64. They delayed the N64 to polish the game even more. So it's completely understandable that they wouldn't have been perfect with the optimizations and such. There have been projects to decomp this game that have been successful. There's a full decomp. And using more aggressive compiling settings saves a lot of performance, but we're not allowed to run on those. So lag reductions it is. And I guess while we're talking about lag, we might as well talk about why we run on N64. Lag is slow, right? We're speedrunners, we want to go fast. Basically, the Wii Virtual Console version of this game is significantly faster. In 120 star, it's about 2 minutes faster than on the Nintendo 64. A lot of games and communities will run on whatever the fastest version is. However, we're a little bit different in that regard, and a lot of it's due to the history of the game. So when speedrunning, especially with this game, first started becoming more popular, it was very dominantly ran by Japanese players. And Japanese players, a lot of them already had a Nintendo 64, but also the Wii Virtual Console in Japan is based off of the Shindu version. So there was the original Japanese version, which released in Japan. Then there was the English version that came out later, a few months later, has a couple changes, and maybe we can talk about those later. And then there was a third version, the Shindu version, which had Rumble Pack support, and also was compiled better, had less lag, but the loads were worse. Grabbing any type of object that's like a pole, so like a tree or a pole or anything like that, had different physics, and also most importantly, backwards long jumps were patched. All of these, plus the fact that the Wii Virtual Console version of this game is really bad, is why Japanese runners weren't using it. The Wii version looks really bad. It has a darkness filter over it. The controls aren't as good. If you're using an adapter, a lot of adapters will drop inputs. If you're mashing, for example, which can be really bad. It's just all around a worse version of the game, although it is faster. So Japanese runners were playing on the Nintendo 64 for a while. And then Siglemic, an American runner, started running the game on Wii. But Siglemic realized how unfair it was to the Japanese runners because Siglemic was running on a platform that saves 2 minutes. So Siglemic decided to get an N64 and then run exclusively on that, mostly exclusively. There's some history there that you can go digging in if you wish. But basically ever since then, this game has been run on N64. It's the best feeling version. It's pretty accessible. It's arguably less accessible now than a Wii version, but you need a mod a Wii to play this game unless you already had it, which a lot of people are against. And you can make the argument that the lag reductions and stuff adds like depth to the speedrun, which I agree with, but I don't think is like a definitive factor. I think I'm much better at lag reductions than most players, and it's an advantage that I have over other people. However, I'm not super attached to the lag. It's a very complicated subject. A lot of people have different opinions on it. A lot of people try to simplify it, or they don't really know what they're talking about. But it's not black and white. It's very much gray. All right, so next up is wing cap. So I'm gonna hold up right. This is the setup I do, and then up left through the text box. I have a visual cue on when to go. I missed a red, that's okay. Flying in this game is very, very tricky. It takes a long time to get used to it and master it. A lot of new players absolutely despise flying, along with swimming. They're kind of in the same tier. All right. And we're able to skip a text box because we touch the switch and then immediately rolled out off of it and grab the star. Normally, if you touch the ground, a text box would appear and you would have to continue no save. Which is another thing. You'll notice after most stars, I select a different option than the default one. Like if I go out of a painting, for example, I'll scroll to the bottom. That is the continue and don't save option. One, it's very nice for when you're doing resets because you won't have a file to delete. But two, it saves time. It saves time because saving the game causes lag. And over the course of an entire 120 star run, if you had perfect continue no saves, you would save roughly 20 seconds over someone who was saving. I just hit Suki, which is the fastest RTA cycle that people go for. So that was nice. People would think I'm kind of crazy going for it in no LBLJ because of Dark World being this late, but it's what I'm comfortable with and what I go for all the time. And bailing out of it isn't too bad. But yeah. So, but you might think that scrolling down to continue no save would lose time. However, on that screen, oh no, I just lost 3 seconds. On that screen, you have to wait before you can select an option anyway. You can scroll before you're able to select something. So you're able to scroll all the way down before you're actually able to press A to select an option. So if you have good menuing, then you won't lose any time to it. No one's perfect though, so no one's getting the entire 20 seconds of time save, but it does save time. So now we're heading back to BOB. This is one of the benefits of the LBLJ route, is you would go to Dark World first, which is a hard stage, and get that out of the way. And then you would only have to come to BOB once. So normally when you boot up the game, the only stage accessible is this one. So this is the only place we can go to unless we're doing a BLJ or other shenanigans to get past doors we're not supposed to get past. So in order to unlock other stages, we need to get a star here. However, there are stars in this stage that require the wing cap, and you're only able to get the wing cap after 10 stars. So if you're doing no LBLJ like I am here, you'd have to come back to BOB. So LBLJ saves roughly 8 to 12 seconds, depending on who you ask and how you time it, and what you think is viable or not. But for a run like this, it really doesn't matter. So next up is Koopa Race. This star has gone through many changes over the years. The most recent one is called Balls. So basically, we need to open the cannon at some point. We can smoke Koopa because we're elite level gamers. So we might as well go finish the race and then come back down. Now, just based off of what I've said so far, there wouldn't be a difference between finishing the race and coming back down versus just opening the cannon after we start the race and then going up. However, if we are a certain distance away from Koopa, they move faster. And they also move faster once we finish the race. So it's worth trying to finish the race as soon as possible and then coming back down. Now, you're gonna see that I'm going on like a weird route here and I'm coming over to this corner. This is the balls strategy. So basically there's these little cannonballs that come out and spawn. Now they only spawn if you're within range of them. Even then, there's still RNG on if they spawn or not, but you have to be within a certain range of them. When Koopa's running up the mountain, Koopa's constantly losing speed, but if there's a ball in the way, Koopa needs to jump over it, and during the duration of the jump, Koopa's speed is locked, so you can have a higher speed for longer. So, we take a very specific route to stay away from the Koopa, but get close to the ball spawners to spend as much time as we can in their range to try and spawn as many as we can, which can save up to 2 seconds over the previous fastest strat. So now I'm going to be doing the island stars. Oof. All right, I need to use the cannon. I missed my triple jump. I don't really know this shot. All right, we're just gonna be losing some time. That's fine. We'll get this star. That was a little unfortunate. That's one of the more aggravating mistakes you can make in a run, because it'll lose a lot of time. There isn't really a good backup, at least not an easy one. So we need to do the exact same movement again, as there's another star on that island, or that requires us to be on that island. So I got the triple jump. I missed the clip on the island, that's fine. Landing from being in the air is interesting in this game because you can store an angle, and we'll use that later on in Tippy on the 104th star. Tippy being the tip top of the castle, very end of the game. Basically, if you stop flying while holding a certain direction, once you start flying again, it's going to store that direction, which can screw you over sometimes, which is really important when you're doing the island clip, which is really, really fast. But if you store the angle improperly, when you shoot out of the cannon to get those secrets, you're going to veer off and miss one or multiple. So here we are with another 100 coin. We're going to be using the shell. And move around the stage extremely quickly. This is another stage where we combine the 100 coin star and the red coin star. So, flying is pretty finicky and tricky. It's very easy to miss coins here. I usually try to get 1 extra coin than I did right here, right now. But depending on how many coins you get out of the air, it means you need to do different things. So we're looking for 68, and I completely whiffed. That's fine. 66 is like the bare minimum that I would like. I'd rather target 68 or higher, but that's fine. Now, the reason why you have to do different things is because there's this box that can get us some quick coins, and we need all 3 because we had 66. There's these poles that we need to run around, which take time. The more coins you have, the more options you have to skipping poles. So if I had 68, I would have been able to kill that Goomba directly coming to the poles. And then if I got every single coin, I would have been good to go. But since I had 66, I had to get the box, which loses a little bit of time, but then I was still able to skip a pole. If I had 65 coins, for example, I would need to get all 4 poles if I wanted to be safe, which is slow. Okay, so we are done with lobby for now. We are going down to the basement, which is kind of like one of the hardest parts of this entire run. Very much a gauntlet, a bunch of different stars that are extremely difficult, back to back to back to back to back. I missed the grab on Mips. That's okay, we can put him in the corner. Loses a little bit of time, not as much time as if Bro just wandered off elsewhere though. So now we have Pillarless. This is another star where that ground pounding through things comes into play. I got a medium bomb, which is harder to deal with. Oh, okay. I was close. I was very close. So we'll try that again. Hopefully we'll get a big bomb. That makes it easier and it's faster. So I got a big bomb. Ooh. And we're it. There's one frame we have to grab the big bomb. This game runs at 30 FPS, so 1/30th of a second to get the ideal size. If you grab it a frame early, you get the medium bomb that I attempted with. You can back it up. A lot of people will just decide to throw the bomb away and go do another star. Here we're doing Talon. Kind of messed my movement up a bit, but it's okay. Okay. Next up is SSL Reds. This is considered one of the hardest stars in the entire game. It's definitely up there. I wouldn't really put it in the hardest stars personally. I think there's a lot of harder stars. But it is a very tricky and annoying star. The main reason why is because there is a frame perfect Z press to store a bunch of speed later on after the pond red. And whiffing it can either lead to death or a pretty big time loss. So here I'm gonna go for it. And I got it. That lets us maintain our speed and fly and go really, really fast to finish the star out. It's very difficult because you're not using Z that often for frame perfect inputs, so you're not as calibrated as if you were to, say, use the A button for something frame perfect. On top of that, the depth perception's really bad there, the camera's really bad, and it's on a slope. So all of these combined make it very, very difficult to do. Next up is SSL 100, another very difficult star. Got some okay RNG there. Now, if we want to be fast, this route is coin perfect. And I almost got that one. That would have been great. That is not a coin you normally would get. It's very easy to lose a coin right here, for example. After this crazy box is what they're called. Sometimes one will get stuck in the pillar. We got them all. That's awesome. Basically, there is a backup coin, but it loses 2 to 3 seconds to go for it, depending on the strat you go for. I prefer to play it safe, so it's closer to 3 seconds. Other people like to play it a little more risky, and then it's only 2. So I have to stand on all top 4 of these pillars. That's why Pillarless is called what it is, and why it's so fast. It's because we don't have to go around on all of those. Now we need to be careful here. On the Japanese version of the game, we can crash if we make a sliding sound after spawning that last secret, which is why we do that single jump there. Right, and I got all the coins. So we are not gonna need a backup coin. It was awesome. That just single jump dive for those 5 coins saves a second, but it's very easy to lose a coin, which then loses 2 to 3. So normally we would kill one of those Goombas if we needed a backup coin, but we do not. All right. Next up is IROC. This is another star, or this is one of the stars that is very different on the Japanese version compared to the English version. I messed my movement up, but we're fine. On the English version, you get way more text boxes. So here, 2 text boxes, easy. On the English version, bro is just waffling forever. Like, single words per text box. And I guess this is like a good time to explain kind of why we run the Japanese version, at least for 120 star. Depending on the category you run, certain versions of the game are faster than others. So in a lot of speed games, it tends to be the case that Japanese is faster because you can condense the text more. That's not the case in this game. The Japanese text boxes actually scroll slower than the English ones. So a lot of the time on a vast majority of text boxes, you would be saving time on the English version. The difference is, there's other differences that make it so it's faster. For example, in JRB, Jolly Roger Bay, the second stage I did, it's technically third, the swimming one, where I did frame walk, that star was just a loose star on the Japanese version. On the English version, it's in a box. So you have to break the box, there's a whole cutscene that plays, and then you can get the star. Dogs barking, losing my train of thought. There's a couple other differences. For example, the intro on the Japanese version, Peach does not read out the letter at the start, which is about 2 seconds faster. So there's quite a few differences between them, and the timing goes back and forth. So like, the Japanese version of the game starts about 2 seconds faster, and then the text boxes make it so English starts catching up, and then we go to JRB, and then the box star, or lack of box star, gives more time saved to the Japanese version. And it's like that the entire run. Oh, need that. Okay. I'm not gonna be able to talk during this BLJ. Okay. Anytime that I have to mash, I'm unable to talk. We're going to be going for another trick discovered by Salt and Ginger called Salt Bog. It's kind of counterintuitive, the name. Very important wall kick to get. If I missed that wall kick, I would have died. Okay, we're in. So we're able to skip a whole door. That saves about 2 seconds, if I remember correctly. Counterintuitive name, it's called Bog because if you mess up, you fall down into another area of the level that's full of water, which we call the bog, I guess. But yeah, very risky to go for in a no reset, in my opinion, but it's a showcase run. We're gonna go for it. Other version differences I'll be able to point out later. There is a stage, BBH, Big Boo's Haunt, where we're able to go through doors after killing boos, which saves a lot of time. You're not able to do that on the English version, they patched it. So I'm gonna do another star here, the Toxic Maze BLJ, so I'm not gonna be able to talk for a second. I've been struggling with this star lately. My camera's messed up. But it worked. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, awesome. Okay, back to the version difference talk. In 120 star, if you get both of the door skips in BBH, the Japanese version is about 2 to 3 seconds faster. Not a lot. If you don't do the door skips, it's about 1 second faster. Also, not a lot. So really, whatever version you have is probably fine. As long as it's not Shindu. 70 star, the English version is faster by about 2 seconds. 16 star, Japanese faster. 1 star, Japanese is faster. And in 0 star, it depends. Zero star skips DDD, which 1 star does not. That's the 1 star that you get in 1 star. And you need very precise speed values to do such. So there's setups that people have created where you purposefully talk to the 30 star door that you're skipping in those categories. And then you're able to do camera turns and hold different values on the stick, and that will get you in. If using one of those setups, English is faster because the text box scrolls faster. If not doing one of those setups and you're just YOLOing it or doing what's called ultimate DDD skip, Japanese is faster because you're avoiding that text box altogether. So here comes C up slide. I will likely have my good friend GTM on the couch and he will be able to explain that trick. It's known as GTM slide in the community, which is kind of a meme because he's not the person who found it, nor is he the person who first started doing it, to my annoyance. But yeah, I call it C up slide because that's what it is. You're doing a C up slide. Okay, the next star is, we call it Christmas Miracle. The reason why we call it this is because a long time ago at this point, before I started running the game, before I even started watching the game, people didn't know what would cause you to be able to hit the switch that I'm gonna hit. So when people got it, they would say that it's a Christmas miracle. We now know that on this triple jump, you want it to just be at the peak of the jump and hold A, and then it'll work. So boom. Now, the reason for that is how the game handles hit detection. Basically, it projects where Mario is heading and puts what are called quarter steps in front of him. And if any of those quarter steps are inside a wall or something like that, then the game knows, hey, we can't go here. However, they are proportionate to your speed. So if you have a very high speed, then there's more distance between them. That's what lets us clip through things when we're really, really fast. But also when we're falling. So when we're falling from that height, we hit terminal velocity. We're going to be moving at the same speed every single time. However, when you're at the peak of your jump and falling, those quarter steps align perfectly, so you're able to hit the switch. Whereas if you weren't to do it at the peak of your jump, or if you were to let go of A a little bit early, there's a possibility that it would be misaligned and you wouldn't hit it. So there's that. So we are now making our way through Lethal Lava Land, or LLL. Not a super tricky stage. It can mess you up, especially in 2 stars from now. So So now I'm gonna do big bully. And the next star I'm doing is the little bullies. There's multiple ways of doing both of these stars. What I just did for big bully was called ledge grab skip. It's easier to grab the ledge and then kill the bully, but it's slower because you're grabbing it and then have to get up. For little bullies, you can go that way. You can either skip the ledge or not. Skipping the ledge is faster, but there's this faster route, which is very, very precise and tight. I might die. Okay. Okay. We're fine. Had to go for it. I go for it in PB attempts, so. Unfortunate that I didn't get it. Ends up losing a lot of time compared to doing one of the easier routes, but that's how speedrunning goes. You start having to do strats and techniques that are more risky for small time saves, and if you mess them up, you lose a lot. So now's the 100 coin. We do not combine this star with reds. We combine it with one of the stars that is in the volcano. Another cool star where you're moving around the entire stage on a shell. Ooh, missed a coin. You need to make a mental note of that to get a backup coin. We got a good eyeball. That guy can be looking in a different direction. Also, this star is very annoying on console because there is RNG lag. A lot of the lag in this game you can pretty reliably reduce. On LLL 100, it's out of our hands. At least in 2 spots. When approaching the red coin puzzle and those last bullies. Okay. Now, personally, I like to try to end my stages with the 100 coin. I haven't been doing that in basement for a variety of reasons. SSL, if you collect the 100 coin star, or sorry, if you collect the top of the pyramid star, then tornadoes will spawn during the 100 coin, and you would have to select a different star, which would lose time. HMC 100 we do at the very start because it's a hard star and runs die there a lot, and that's just kind of what's normal. And LLL, a lot of people will do it last. I like saving that elevator star last because if you mess something up on the 100 coin, you can bail out of it and do that star. For example, if you lose the shell. Also, if you die inside the volcano, you respawn inside the volcano. So if you're doing the 100 coin star and you end up dying, it's good to go do the other star that would be in the volcano as a backup. Okay, now we are heading on to Vanish Cap. Now, Vanish Cap used to be a stage that I was very, very comfortable in and confident because I didn't do anything crazy. However, I now have the most up-to-date and advanced Vanish Cap. So, let's see if I can get the cycle. And I got Inviswalled. It's unfair, man. There's nothing you can do. To do that strat, you have to go through an Inviswall. Can't avoid it. It's really tragic. Oh my gosh, I almost died. Okay, we're gonna play it a little safe. That's unfortunate. That's something I really would like to hit during the actual run if I get accepted. It's really, really cool. But can't hit it every time. Okay. So now we're done with basement. We're coming back up to go to CCM. Now, You might be wondering why we wouldn't do this stage earlier, because it's right here. It's right between BOB and basement. Wouldn't it make sense to do it earlier? Kind of yes, but also no. Doing it after BOB is called CCM 33, because you have 33 stars. Some people also call it CCM early, but there are some people who do CCM instead of BOB, and then they'll do BOB right now. I almost died. It saves 0.6 to do CCM after BOB. However, 1, it delays basement, which, like we talked about earlier, is a very, very difficult part of the run, and there's a lot of resets that happen there. And 2, that MIPS grab that I did after LLL was significantly easier because I got the 50-star text box. If I were to do CCM 33, I would be leaving LLL with 57 stars, and I would not have that text box, which makes it significantly harder to grab MIPS, often to the point of missing them or losing the 0.6 that you would have saved. So a lot of people opt to not do it. This is kind of more of the standard route. A lot of Japanese runners have started doing CCM 33. I know there's a couple other like English-speaking runners who do it as well. Shoutouts to Meefs. But I am not one of them. I used to do it a very long time ago, and I was planning on doing it again, but after messing around with the MIPS grab, I've decided against it. It's not worth it. So we're knocking out some of the more easy stars in CCM. Next up is a favorite of a lot of people, CCM Reds. You're flying all over the stage to collect these reds. This is another star that we don't do 100 coin plus reds. So we're gonna come over here. Let's roll out Scary. Very easy to just fall off. That was pretty sloppy, but we didn't die and we didn't lose a ton of time. I just did a strat called Just Walk for that 6th red. Most people will wall kick to turn around there. However, I believe it was Tabascoth found that just walking can save a frame and more reliably be fast and be less risky in certain regards. So I'm just walking. Just walking. All right. So next is CCM 100 plus the Penguin race. So we're able to collect a bunch of coins while racing the Penguin, so it makes sense to do both stars at the same time. Now I'm doing a route called Atom Pass route, or slide skip, where I'm gonna skip a large portion of the slide. Assuming that, oh, that's a really bad mistake. Assuming that I don't lose any coins. Oh man. Well, I guess I'm doing it anyway because there's no way I'm losing more than 2 coins now. So the Penguin rubber bands like crazy. A lot of people struggle with the Penguin race when they first start running. The best advice I can give them is don't race the Penguin. Which seems counterintuitive. There's a certain part where the Penguin really starts pushing up against you and is wanting to pass. I say just let them, because once they're in the lead, they're going to rubber band to be slower, and then it'll be significantly easier. A lot of people are just fighting the Penguin over and over, and that causes them to fall off the slide. So the reason why we do slide skip is because of that rubber banding. If we're in the air for too long, the Penguin's going to call us a cheater. Luckily, cutting the corner there, we're in the air for a short enough period of time where it's fine. And then we're very far ahead of the Penguin, so they speed up, which results in us being able to collect the Penguin star faster. We still will collect the 100 coin star in about the same time. Okay. Snowman's Head. I take a scenic route. There's one checkpoint, which was right there by those coins, That's the only checkpoint we really need to hit, other than standing in the correct spot at the very end. So we can go and do whatever we want. We can say hello to our little snowman friends. We don't see any action. We got the animation skip, doing that backflip. Basically, you would normally talk to the snowball if you were standing there, but if you land at just the right time, it gets interrupted by the snowball getting on top of it. So you don't waste any time having an animation of Mario looking up. Small little time save. Okay, we're going to BBH. So this is where the door skips will be, on this very first star that I'm doing. Door skips are very, very hard and very, very annoying, and I despise them. But I will try. So our first one would be coming up. We got a good boo. We got it. Okay, we're gonna be careful here, because if we fall down, that's like 40 seconds of time loss. Okay, so we got to skip that animation. Awesome. That's the easier one to do. This next one is very difficult. So we're gonna get a double kill there. You didn't see the second one. Oh, we got it. All right, let's go. Okay. Awesome. It's nice to get both of those. Okay. The next star we are doing is 100 coin. Now, there's some interesting small tidbits about this star. Things you would never know unless someone told you or you were really learning this game at honestly a higher level. Touching the time we touch this door matters, but if we do like optimal perfect movement, we're gonna get a bad time talking to that door or like reaching that door, which again is probably quarter step related. So we purposely get a little bit of dust. Same with going from that first door to that second door. Normally you would want to do what's called a buffer kick, where you hold A and then hold B to accelerate faster from a stop. However, doing that there loses a frame. So, and just walking is slow. But if we can do it at a proper time, then our stuff lines up. There was another small thing right there when I first entered this room where I did a big jump with a bunch of dust. That's to get the eye to look at us. Also, outside, the scuttlebug that charged us, a little spider bro. That's why we want a certain door touch time. We want the optimal one. Technically, in-game time, you can get a 4.00. No one's getting a 4.00. You want a 4.03. And the reason for that is you're guaranteed, at least as far as I'm aware, I've never ever gotten a bad scuttlebug after getting a 403. Over here, I'm going for double star spawn, which I did not get. The scuttlebug thing, if you get a slower time, they can run away from you, which loses time. And then the double star spawn thing, which was right there. When you grab the 100th coin, a frame later, as far as I know, it might be the same frame you grab the coin, the star spawns. However, if you were to grab a red coin as your last, and the red coin star would spawn at the same time as the 100 coin star, they both would spawn with one animation, which the developers didn't want. So what they did was they delayed the star spawn for the red coin star by a few frames. But that means if you are able to grab the red coin star and then 4 frames later grab the 100th coin, you can get them to spawn at the exact same time, saving a cutscene. Most people don't go for it right there. I do. The most common place for it to occur is in BOB 100 with the poles, because coins will just be going everywhere. So yeah, that's how that works. It's a nice little time save when you can get it. Now we're gonna do merry-go-round. And flub my movement a little bit, that's okay. Now there's an interesting property in this game. Boos technically don't die until they hit a wall. Also, this big boo will come out sooner if we're facing the wall, which is weird, I don't know why. But like, we do ground pounds in a certain way to get it so the boo will go and hit that left wall ASAP, which will spawn the star. So that's another thing. If you at home are struggling with that star and the timing of the kill, pay attention to where the boo's going. And that might help you out. I'm gonna go for a strat that's new right here. I got it. We used to ground pound that box, but it was recently discovered, as far as I know, recently discovered. It's recently implemented into runs in RTA. Just kick breaking it, which is you get up there. The way that I do it is I do the tiniest jump I possibly can, like a 1 frame A press, and then the next frame I hit B, and that works for me. So we're gonna be wrapping up BBH now. I'm surprised that worked. If you look directly at the boo, they'll go invis and you can't hurt them, which loses some time. But they were a homie for us. Okay. So that's it for BBH. We are now on to DDD 100, an infamous stage and star that a lot of people dislike, but I honestly like. And I go for some different things than most people. So I'm gonna start explaining it now. Once I get to the second section, there's a sub. I'm gonna do a triple jump off of the fin. A lot of people, doing a triple jump off of the fin is a rare strat. It's very, very fast, but it's very hard to do. A lot of people will use a different camera than me. I do it slightly slower than the other people who do fin triple. It makes it a lot easier and it reduces some lag. And then also I'm gonna be going for a strat called Splashless, which as far as I know, I'm the only person who goes for it. Basically, there's a red in a place where most people will just send themselves at it and fall in the water. Me, I'm gonna try jumping on top of the front of the sub to stay on it. It's one of those strats that doesn't save time in-game time, as far as I know. So if you're on Wii Virtual Console or an emulator or something like that without lag, it's probably not gonna save you time. It saves time mostly through lag. And also, something that I forgot to mention with the version differences, or like platform differences, is honestly, a lot of the time save comes from loads. Like, yes, emulator and Wii Virtual Console don't have lag, but they also have significantly faster loads, and that's where most of the time save is. So here I'm changing the camera to do the fin triple. I'm gonna do a dive just to be safe. It's slow, but I didn't think I was gonna make it. And here we're gonna set up Splashless. Okay. We got it. Nice. And it's called Splashless or hydrophobic or whatever you want to call it, waterless, because we don't go back in the water. So in our practice, the practice tools that we have in-game time and real time. We usually track stuff spreadsheet wise and for comparing against others with in-game time. Works across all platforms. However, optimizing your real time is actually the more important thing, because we're timing it in real time, for that star, for a lot of top players, I noticed they get about 4 seconds of lag. So if they were to get, say, a 2 flat in-game time, their real time would be 2:04. Whereas me, a lot of the time, it ends up being 1.5 seconds. So someone can have a better in-game time than me, but I save time over them because of lag reductions. It's just something that you have to think about when you're playing on the N64. Okay, so next is the substar. There is a strat people go for called Chip Clip. Shoutouts to Chip Groove who found it, where you can punch a wall up above this tunnel and clip through it, saving 0.7. However, you lose 7 seconds if you fail it, and it's pretty precise, and I haven't really grinded it out, so I am not going for it. That is a clip that people have been searching for forever. I didn't talk about it at all in JRB, but I did a similar one where I punched a wall to clip through. That one is significantly easier than this one. Oh. Mario just didn't jump, man. And because this is so laggy, that loses more time than you would think. Because of that JRB clip, a lot of people have searched over the years in DDD for that one, and no one found it. Many people have searched for it. Tassers, tool-assisted speedrunners, people who go frame by frame and really know the game. A lot of people over the years have looked for it and were unsuccessful. A few years ago, I was in a call with Chip Groove, and he just was like, I want to try to find something new. I'm just gonna go mess around. And the first thing he tried, I'm so clutch, dude. One of the first things he tried was punching that wall to clip through. He got it on his second try. As it turns out, you need specific spacing and speed, and to hit it, I'm not sure if it's frame perfect or not. Again, I'll probably have GTM there to help explain. That's a strat that he does. He runs 16 star, so he goes for a lot more of the more optimal and risky strats for the stars that are in 16. So we managed to make the lava boost cycle in Fire Sea. That was pretty scary with the pole grab, but I made it work. Okay, so that finishes up Fire Sea. This is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna plan on doing multiple attempts. I wanted more days. As you can tell on the splits, it's the 4th. I'm pretty sure submissions close on the 5th. I've been busy moving the last week, so I haven't had time to sit down and do this. But my plan, honestly, was to sit down and just keep going until I didn't stumble over my words, if I were to, and until I got like a really good time. I wanted a 137. It's gonna be very difficult to get a 137 this run, but this is the literal first attempt. I'm pretty happy with it. The run would be a lot better if I didn't die in SSL, but it is what it is. So we're gonna be closing out Dire Docks. We have 2 more stars to do. This one I have a visual cue lineup to be really fast. Honestly, I'm gonna try to explain it for my friends who run the game. Stay close to the ceiling. See up. When the shadow exits the tunnel, hold up. And then you hold like halfway between neutral and down. And then once Mario's hat kind of touches the red grate here, like visually, hold up. You're gonna have to do some micro adjustments, but it saves so much time compared to like swimming up, stopping, then turning, stuff like that. I think I literally started saving 2 or 3 seconds, and it wasn't that hard to implement. Like, it's the type of thing where you sit down with it for 10 minutes and you can start nailing it. It's definitely something that's worth looking into. Very low effort for big time save. Because a lot of people, including myself, will learn stuff and then kind of neglect it for a very long time and not update it. Especially swimming stars. Like, I can't remember the last time I practiced a lot of these stars. Because I pushed them to a certain level, which was like good for the skill level I was at. And then I've gotten better everywhere else, but then haven't retouched these stars up. So they've kind of fallen behind. DDD is on my list of stages that I need to do a thorough look over with. So we are now going into upstairs. This is where it gets real. This is where a lot of people think the run is real now. It's really hype. This is when, if you're streaming, a lot of people will start coming in. You'll be posted in Discords and stuff if there's anyone around to do that. Man. Mistimed Let's Swim. I do quite a few different strats here than most people. I will say swimming is kind of annoying, especially that ledge grab, or for that ledge grab, because in order to be really fast, you have to press A frame perfectly. If you don't, you get those kick swims, which loses a lot of time. And if you do it late, then you're not gonna have enough speed and you're gonna jump out of the water and not ledge grab. So this is something that I do differently than most people. I kind of messed it up just a little bit, but you get the gist. Most people just go directly to that box. I don't like the camera when you do that, so I like going up and doing that slide kick. I don't think it saves much time, if at all, like at most a couple frames, but it very much is a pick your poison. It just looks really, really cool. It just also so happens to be the one that I find the least annoying to do. So that's another thing that I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who's doing at the moment, was I directly triple jumped to this platform. Most people will go to the spinning platform to the side. It's maybe like a 0.7 time save. I really don't think it's that bad. I'm surprised a lot of people don't go for it. It was a little annoying to grind out at first, but it's definitely something that's nice. It helps give me a little bit of an edge over other people too. Especially because, for example, my 100 coin is a little slow compared to other top runners. So we hit both triple jump wall kicks. That's where we go from that gray slope that's curving, and then we wall kick off that black cage. That is a very finicky strat, very annoying to learn. Everybody struggles with it. Everybody remembers losing a million billion runs to it when they first were learning it. It's one of those strats that's kind of a big deal when you're implementing into a run. So it's nice to have hit both. I mean, I kind of expect to hit both, but you know, things do happen. Okay. You can do a jump dive off that fence, which sometimes I go for, but my angle and speed was not great, so we played it safe and did the normal thing. A lot of people will save top of the town, which is that box star we did, for later, in case they accidentally go mid-water level. Me, I don't know, I like working from top to bottom. It's fastest to enter the stage at the very top, because you have to go downtown. But then it doesn't matter speed-wise when you do the next stars. People like having it as a backup, but I just say I'll risk it. And I think I've only messed it up once or twice, and one of those was pretty recently. And as someone who has, whoa, 8,500 hours in this game, that's pretty good stats, in my opinion. Oh my gosh, dude. Where is my B press? No kick. It's fine. Everything is good. So there's two different 100 coin routes on this stage. There's 100 plus reds and 100 plus secrets. In 70 star, you do 100 plus secrets because coming all the way down here is really, really slow. However, a lot of people will learn 70 before they do 120, and then they don't want to learn a new 100 coin route, so they'll do solo reds, which loses about 8 seconds, I believe. But honestly, 100 plus reds is significantly more fun and less punishing in my opinion, which is interesting because 100 plus secrets, you can lose 1 coin. There's a lot of coin boxes that you have to break, so there's a lot of RNG, and you're able to lose up to 1 coin without losing a lot of time. Whereas 100 plus reds is coin perfect. There are backup coins for both routes, but you don't want to use backup coins and strats. But even then, I find that the route that requires you to be coin perfect to be more consistent and less punishing. I actually find 100 plus secrets to be one of the worst stars in the entire game. Maybe the worst star, in my opinion. And we all know that my opinion is the only one that matters. Just kidding. So we're making our way into THI. We're gonna start with secrets. I'm going for a slide here. Got it. Now, there's many different ways, dang. There's many different ways to do this strat, or this star. Some of them are faster in-game time, some of them are faster lag-wise. That slide that I did doesn't really save time in-game time, at least the way that I did it, over a very good, like, normal way of doing it. However, it vastly reduces the lag, sometimes to only a couple frames. Whereas doing it the normal way, or the more popular way, can get you tenths of seconds of lag. And we don't like lag. We want to be fast. So like the way that people normally do it, yeah, you can get faster in-game times, but you're gonna get a lot more lag most likely. So I found that I save time on average doing it like that, even though it's harder, but it's really cool. So next up is Wiggler. Clip in through the mountain. I don't actually really know why that works. You just have a bunch of speed and then you can dive through it. It's pretty cool. At the very start of the star, you saw me do like a kick upright, and then I double jumped over the gap and was able to get a triple jump off. That's like the fastest strat, at least RTA viable. Very, very precise and finicky. I imagine I will miss it on one of the next 2 times that I go for it. As we go to that pipe 3 times using that movement. So here comes the second one. Yep. Oh, I punch swimmed. So yeah. And that loses all of the time save and more that doing that strat. Wow, okay, dude. Would have saved. I guess I'll go for the ground pound clip. Normally you would just do a side flip to get up, which is the slowest strat. It's very easy though. I was going for a ground pound clip, which is right before you would ledge grab to clip through the ceiling. You do a ground pound. Like so. And then you're instantly able to move. The triple jump strat saves like 0.3 over that each time you do it. So it's like about a second total. So making any mistake on the triple jump strat any of the times loses that. We're going a different way for Koopa than most people do. Most people will talk to the Koopa and then jump down on the beach, kill a tiny Koopa, ride his shell, which is basically like just robbing him of his house and riding it off into the sunset. But then there's like a specific time you want to finish the race at. Like you don't want to finish it too fast. You don't want to finish it too slow. It's always going to depend. It's kind of awkward getting over there. The strat that I just did seems to make it a lot more consistent, and you can just go as fast as you can. You don't have to worry about that. And it looks really cool. So, and we all know that that's the thing that matters most. Here's another strat that people don't go for, is this rollout off of this bridge. I really like it because you can react to the blue coin a lot better in my opinion, but it is very precise. And loses a lot of time when you mess it up. So good thing that we didn't mess it up. Now we need to be careful with these Goombas because if we do like a normal kill, like a normal jump on them, they give us a yellow coin, which is worth only 1 coin. Whereas if we ground pound them, we get a blue coin, which is worth 5. Doing one of the worst strats in the game, which is manipulating these guys. We're fine, none of the coins went in the water, we were able to kill both of them. I used to do a completely different route where I would race the Koopa, like the Koopa we did last star, while doing 100 coin, but it theoretically is faster. In practice, due to RNG, it won't be, and you can just get screwed over at the very end. Because one of the big Goombas that you need, or both, at the very end will just walk off the edge, and then you have to go get a backup Goomba that's really far away, which is like 15 to 20 seconds of time loss. We don't like that. So finally, after 4 or 5 years of doing that route, I finally switched over to the dismay of some, and I mean, there's quite a lot of people who celebrate the fact that I finally am doing the route that everybody else does. Okay, onwards to TTM, or Tall Tall Mountain. We're gonna do 3 mountain clips, very precise if we want to be fast. I have a setup, in fact I have a tutorial on YouTube on how I do this. So we got a pretty decent clip there. I swam too early. That's okay. Hopefully we can skip this wall kick. We did. Awesome. That was pretty good. So now we need to do that 2 more times. I also got the first frame wall kick off the log. We haven't talked about frame wall kicks. You have 5 frames to wall kick. The first one gives you a ton of speed. There are certain places where you do not want that to happen. Here, it's okay as long as you're prepared for it. So I was a little short there, so I did a little punch swim to go a little bit forward. And to explain how the like up warp works is the game does not expect you to enter water from any place other than the top. So if you have water above you, it's going to warp you up into the water. Because it just thinks, well, there's water on the same like Z-axis plane as Mario, therefore he should be in the water. Here's another strat that no one goes for. Oh, we're short. So, I just did what's called monkey cage wall kick. Oh no! Please just walk down. Don't run in a circle. No! No! I don't know what to do! Oh no! Man. Okay, well that's a huge time loss. Oh my gosh, and then I died, no. Okay. Some people will save the waterfall star in case something like that happens, but having the monkey cage out lags. So, okay, that was the worst clip other than dying that we got. We went straight to the top water, which means we had to swim a very big distance. There we go. Okay, we landed on the slope. Now, normally you would put the monkey down and bro would just walk and take forever. However, for whatever reason, if you grab him on a slope and then say drop, you keep him in your hands, and as long as you keep jumping, you're fine. And then we can make our way over to like where they're supposed to be in ground pound, and it skips a lot of their pathing. I don't know. It's a huge time save though. Here I'm going for a strat that we call breeze. There's a strat called breezeless, where you kind of do a triple jump wall kick and like clip in there, but it saves 2 seconds and it's very, 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 very hard. And you actually can just get screwed over by RNG, effectively RNG, and not clip in. So I say, not for me, man. Not for me. Wow. We lost a minute. Oh, that's so sad. Oh well. It is what it is. It is what it is. So now we're gonna do 100 coin for TTM. A lot of people will ask me what my least favorite star is, or my favorite star. Probably should have started that sentence with favorite. I honestly don't know for either of those. However, my favorite piece of movement is starting right here. Oh, and I messed it up. No, it's okay. And ending here. I love that section of movement so much. It's really fun to do. It's very high APM. It's not too bad. You're doing like crazy camera turns and stuff, putting it in the mountain. It's just, in general, pretty awesome. Also, saw that I went for a wall kick off of like the waterfall part, which is different than a lot of people. It saves a lot of time, in my opinion. It's also easier. It's just scarier because if you mess it up, you fall all the way down and lose a lot of time. But as long as you're pretty close to the wall, it's notched and you can go neutral and landing on the bridge. When you go neutral when landing, you just immediately stop and don't go anywhere. And then you can walk, and it'll still be the same speed as the other strat, but the other strat's like really finicky and hard to do. So I've been doing the waterfall wall kick for a very long time now. It's finally catching on. I used to do it way slower and worse than how I just did it, but man, a minute in TTM. It is what it is. Alright, we're going to Snowman's Land. Here's another strat that not many people do, although I think it's getting more popular. Pengu flip. Penguin flip. Bam. We'll use the top of the penguin's head to get up there. Saves quite a bit of time over the normal strat. And in my opinion is less annoying. Unless you fail it, then it's like really sad. I'm going for a strat that I only recently introduced, Igloo Clip. Bam. We can clip through the top slash back of the igloo, saving quite a bit of time. Awesome. That igloo is very awkward to navigate in. I kind of messed my movement up at the start, but got lucky with the Goomba placement. They can be in a place where you'll bonk, like you'll run right into him, especially if you mess up the movement that I'm going for. Oh, I make mistake. But it's fine. Next is Deep Freeze, the hardest star in the entire game. I actually messed it up, that's funny. It's hard to do it well. We joke that it's the hardest star. It's hard to do well, and it's very easy to mess up and melt down on. So next we're gonna do Ice Bully. I messed my movement up. Sag. It's okay. Now, I started doing a different 100 coin route than most people. This is a route from 2019. I used to do it a very long time ago, but dropped it due to the movement exiting the igloo being really, really awkward and bad. However, there's new setups. So it's back on the table, and this is like one of my favorite stars now, I guess, despite all of the RNG. Like, that guy can kind of make or break if you're getting a gold or not. And by kinda, I mean it's just true. Like, you could play perfect on every star before that and then just get completely screwed over by the money bag or by any of these spin drifts. Really anywhere on this star. And it can be very awkward, especially in the igloo with all the camera turns and stuff, but I don't know, I like this star. Do the new updated coin movement. That's the fastest you can do there, by the way, other runners. Oh, I messed it up. Man, it is what it is. Basically, I would have gotten a triple jump off and gone flying to that box, which is really, really cool. Guess you're just gonna have to look elsewhere. Follow me live on Twitch to see it done. Oh. Okay. All right, and that's wrapping up SL. So we are now going into Tippy, the tip top of the castle. This is like really when it gets real. This is, okay, everybody put down what you're doing. Someone's in Tippy right now. I'm gonna go for a BLJ. Ooh, I might have enough speed. Or I might just lose a bunch of time. Okay, we got it. Nice. You can skip that door animation. You can save a lot of time if you get it really fast. And if you were here during BOB, remember when I was talking about a stored angle? I'm gonna store a right angle here when I ground pound. Technically, I'm pretty sure you do not need an angle to make this shot, but it makes it significantly easier and it's just faster. So everyone goes for it if they're doing this strat. So we're gonna have our lineup, we're gonna go, and we're gonna veer off to the right. And we're heading over to this cannon. And it's gonna look scary, I promise you it really isn't. Okay, we're up. We're going up here, got the perfect shot, so I get the rollout, which is really, really fast. We're gonna go for this movement, which is scary, in a no reset, okay? We got that coin, that saves about a second. It's very easy to grab that pole, and then the backup is pretty awkward and very easy to fall down. And unfortunately in this stage, if you fall, you don't die. You fall outside the castle and have to run all the way back up. It doesn't just spit you out right here. So in a marathon run or a no reset or something, very, very scary. It can also be pretty scary when you're on pace. Next up is TTC. I think that this stage is the pinnacle of SM64 speedrunning. Especially this star, TTC 100. And I can kind of just let it speak for itself. And I'm not even like the greatest at this. Watching someone who's really, really good at this game and who's really grinded out TTC and optimized it, it's a treat. I'm sure a lot of us remember struggling with this star or this stage in general as a kid. Oh. And us speedrunners, we just make quick work of it. Oh my god, that's really bad. Okay, we're fine. Okay. Man, I hyped up the star and then kind of just completely messed it up. It's sad. Oh well. Wow, dude. Oh. Almost saved it. I got invis ceilinged, which killed my height. I've been struggling a lot with that star. Hopefully by January I'm in a much better place with it. Okay, we are going to go for moving bars now. A very funny name. We also call it schmoving bars. It's dependent on this rollout. I got it. Okay. Ah, okay, we're bailing. We'll go for it again. We call it moving bars because the star name is moving bars, and for a very long time people would do it with stopped time. Depending on when you enter the clock, like what it's pointing at, dictates the speed that things are moving at. So we would always go in stopped to do that star. So we would be doing stationary moving bars. Oh! I'm bailing again, which is scary because I don't have a backup now. But we now have a way of doing it realistically moving. And in-game time, it really doesn't save much at all, but you save a bunch of time entering the clock because you don't have to wait for it to point towards 12 to be stopped. Okay, there we go. I was doing a strat called Ape Down. Shoutouts to Ape Dudin and shoutouts to Shakedown, who discovered it. Basically, you get a bunch of speed on the rollout, and it'll let you go from the bottom cog to the second cog. Unfortunately, I was too busy messing things up to be able to explain it when it was in front of me. But it's very, very fast. Technically, you don't need to do it. You just don't need to do it for moving bars, but it's fast too, and I'm too slow to not. Okay, new way of doing moving reds. I just learned this last night, and I whiffed it. Don't die. Okay. That will be much better in a couple months. Okay. Man, I really wanted to get a 1-3x. This is starting to look a little dicey. That's okay. Considering I just sat down, ran around the moat for a little bit, started recording, I'm talking the entire time, I lost a minute in TTM. This is pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with this as a showcase. So, I'm not gonna redo this. This is just gonna be what I submit, which is cool because I have a lot of other things that I need to do around the house because we just moved. So, earlier I mentioned that I like doing 100 coins last, if possible. The reason why I like doing that is because 100 coins can vary a lot, and I'll have my splits when doing attempts, and I'll be able to see how long the current split is taking. And if the other stars are less RNG based, I can get an idea of how good the split is heading into the 100 coin. Like I can get a more accurate read on that. But like I said, there's certain places and stars where you don't want to do that, or it's better not to. TTC Okay. TTC, the only stopped star we do now, at least I do, is TTC 100. And it's the most optimal to enter stopped, coming straight from the cloud stage. Therefore, it's first. For Rainbow Ride, the fly guy, at the very start, I didn't get any coins from them, but we kill them anyway. We don't need coins from them, but it's nice to have backups. Like right now, I can't lose any coins, otherwise I need to kill the Chuckya. We're fine. I messed up my own strat. It's called Kally kill. I didn't name it, for the record, and it would have been found anyway. It's just carpetless dropped, and we were routing this 100 coin. It was like day 3. It would have been found. Anyways, the fly guy at the start, it's nice to get those extra coins just in case. You lose coins at the end. But sometimes they fly away. And the way that I get down there, I can bail out and go do another star and lose literally no time at all. And get a second shot at getting coins from the fly guy. So that's why I do it first. Also, I like doing carpetless last. If you haven't been around in the last 2 years, carpetless is now real. There is now an RTA viable setup. It's no longer an annoying meme. I like doing it last because I want to be nervous for the least amount of time possible. If I'm on pace, it's kind of easy in Rainbow Ride to just be like, well, it doesn't really matter because carpetless is so hard. It's not gonna matter until I hit carpetless, so I'm not gonna be worrying during Rainbow Ride. And then if I hit it, then I only have the final stage to do while nervous. And also, when I get runs this deep, I like to finish them out. I have a much higher completion rate of runs than most people. And doing it first can be very, very tilting. If I mess it up a couple times, and then I have to go do the rest of Rainbow Ride. So when carpetless first dropped, I was doing it first. Some people do it second or third. There's other stars people prefer doing before it. I prefer doing it last. I think it's more hype that way too. So here's the star that we would have bailed out of if we got a bad fly guy, like we just did. Luckily we didn't need them. Okay. So I want to say it's really funny because a lot of the time when I do no resets, it ends up being a high 139, low 140. I don't know why I'm absurdly consistent with getting those times. I would like to change that to be better. I mean, those are really good times, especially for no resets, but we lost a minute in TTM. So we're doing carpetless, which is a very precise trick. We use pause buffering, which is not cheating. By the way, it's timed real time, it's okay. To change the value or what we're holding. Okay, got it, first try. There's certain visual cues that we look for, that we try to pause in certain frames, and that's when we will hold different directions. And that's what lets us hit the glitchy wall kicks, which are very precise, that let us get up there. So now we're going into Bit's final stage. This is one of my favorite Bowser stages. Now there's an invisible axis wall thing I gotta avoid. It just avoided it. The hitbox of that like carousel thing is completely offset from what it looks like visually. So when going for that cycle, you have to be very careful about it. Luckily I was there early enough that it was pretty trivial to avoid. I think I'm gonna submit the estimate as 145. I think that's pretty reasonable. Stuff happens, carpetless can destroy me. Last time I submitted, I did 150 as my estimate, but just to be safe, I would go with 145, I guess. Even though I am pretty confident I can go way faster than that. So here we are, final fight. Gotta throw the Bowser at 3 bombs. And we hit all 3 laser beams. Perfect. So that's Super Mario 64 120 start. Shame I didn't get the 1-3X, but stuff happens, man. Stuff happens. Hard game. All right. There it is. Like I said, I don't know who will be on my couch yet. It's probably going to be mostly vibes. Beeves' GDQ run was very nice in that regard, with a lot of the joking and the laid-back nature of a lot of things. I like explaining stuff myself, so I would probably tell my couch for the most part not to explain things unless I ask them to. But yeah, I started watching speedrunning in 2014. I saw Siglemic do a GDQ run. It took me 5 years before picking the game up myself. I tried a couple times in those 5 years, like 2014 to 2019. I tried a couple times to get into it myself, but it never stuck until 2019. And I've been playing ever since. I never thought that I would get to a point where I would get a 143, which is what the world record was when I started watching. World record when I started running was a 139. Like, I never thought that I would beat those times, and now here I am, 5th place, submitting to GDQ. So it'd be really awesome to go. Pittsburgh's a great city as well. I have family there. It'd be good to see them. But yeah, that's that. Thank you so much for watching my submission. Peace.